A psychology professor stands in front of a camera. He's about to say something that will change his life forever. He's not talking about a scientific breakthrough. He's talking about pronouns. Within weeks, he'll be the most controversial professor in the world. Protesters will scream at him. Colleagues will denounce him. The government will threaten him. But he won't back down. His name is Jordan Peterson, and this is the story of what happens when a quiet academic becomes a cultural warrior, not because he wanted to, but because he refused to be silent. Alberta, Canada, 1962, Jordan Burnt. Peterson was born in a small town to working-class parents. He wasn't a prodigy. He was a quiet, thoughtful kid who read obsessively: philosophy, psychology, history, religion. By his teens, Jordan was wrestling with big questions. Why do people do evil things? What creates meaning in life? How do societies fall apart? These weren't casual interests. They were obsessions. He studied political science, then psychology, got his PhD from McGill University, became a professor at Harvard, then the University of Toronto. For decades, Jordan was exactly what you'd expect: a serious academic, publishing papers, teaching students, working as a clinical psychologist helping people with depression and anxiety. His specialty? Understanding how people create meaning, how they avoid chaos, how they build order in their lives. He studied totalitarian regimes obsessively: Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia. How do ordinary people become capable of extraordinary evil? His conclusion was dark. It happens when people stop taking personal responsibility, when they blame others, when they follow ideologies blindly. For years, Jordan taught these ideas in quiet classrooms to small groups of students. Then in 2016, everything changed. The Canadian government proposed Bill C-16, a law that would add gender identity and expression to the list of prohibited grounds for discrimination. Most people didn't care. It seemed reasonable, progressive, compassionate. But Jordan saw something different. He saw compelled speech. The law could be interpreted to legally require using someone's preferred pronouns. And for Jordan, that crossed a fundamental line, not because he hated trans people, but because he believed the government should never force what words you must say. He made a video explaining his position. He expected maybe a few thousand views. Instead, millions. The video went viral. The response was immediate. Protest at his lectures, colleagues calling him transphobic, students demanding he be fired. But Jordan doubled down. He did interviews, more videos, more speeches. He said, "I will not use pronouns I consider to be the constructs of radical ideologues. I don't recognize their authority to determine my speech." That sentence made him a hero to some, a villain to others. Something strange happened. Young men started finding Jordan's videos, not the pronoun ones. His lectures, hours-long discussions about meaning, responsibility, mythology, psychology. He talked about cleaning your room as a first step to fixing your life, about telling the truth, about taking responsibility instead of blaming the world. His message wasn't radical, it was traditional, almost old-fashioned, but to millions of young men feeling lost, directionless, and told they were inherently problematic. Jordan's message felt like permission to want order, to seek meaning, to believe in personal responsibility. His book came out in 2018. It became a global phenomenon. Millions of copies sold, translated into dozens of languages. Jordan went from unknown professor to one of the most influential intellectuals in the world. He filled arenas. His videos got hundreds of millions of views. People tattooed his quotes on their bodies. But fame at that level, it comes with a cost. Jordan's wife got diagnosed with cancer. The stress was overwhelming. His doctor prescribed benzodiazepines for anxiety. Jordan took them as directed, but benzos are dangerous, highly addictive, terrible withdrawal symptoms. By 2019, Jordan was physically dependent. He tried to quit. The withdrawal was hell. He couldn't sleep, couldn't function. He checked into rehab, then another. Nothing worked. Finally, he went to Russia for a medically induced coma to get through the worst of withdrawal, a dangerous, controversial treatment. For months, the man who told millions to get your life in order was completely falling apart. The critics loved it. See? He's a hypocrite. Can't even follow his own advice. But that misses the point entirely. Jordan never said he was perfect. He said struggle is part of life, that taking responsibility means facing your problems, not avoiding them. And that's exactly what he did. He fought through addiction, through near death, through public humiliation. (2021). Jordan came back, thinner, older, changed. He started doing interviews again, podcasts. His voice was weaker, his energy different, but his message unchanged. He still talked about responsibility, meaning truth, the dangers of ideological possession. But now he spoke with something he didn't have before. Humility. He'd been broken, and he came back, not perfect, but real. Today, Jordan Peterson remains controversial. His political views alienate many. His cultural commentary sparks debates, but his core message resonates with millions. Take responsibility, tell the truth, create meaning through struggle. So what do we learn from Jordan Peterson? Here's the truth. Jordan's story isn't about pronouns. It's about something deeper. It's about what happens when someone refuses to say what they're told to say. When someone draws a line and says, "I will not cross this." Whether you agree with where Jordan drew his line is almost beside the point. The point is that he drew one. In a world that increasingly demands conformity, Jordan said, "No, I will face the consequences, but I will not bow." That takes courage. Real courage. The kind that costs you friends, colleagues, peace of mind. But here's what's complicated. Jordan's not a simple hero. He's made mistakes, said things he shouldn't. His political views are divisive. His addiction showed he's as human and vulnerable as anyone. Jordan Peterson's lesson is this: standing for something costs you. It cost him his anonymity, his health, his peace. But silence has a cost too, and for Jordan, that cost was higher. He believed compelled speech was wrong, so he spoke against it, knowing the price. That's not about being right. It's about being honest, about refusing to say things you don't believe just to make life easier. You don't have to agree with Jordan Peterson to learn from him. You can disagree with his politics, question his methods, critique his views, but you can't deny this. He stood for something when it would have been easier to sit down. He faced the mob when silence would have been safer. He fought through addiction and came back to keep teaching when quitting would have been understandable. That's not perfection, that's integrity, the willingness to suffer for what you believe is right. Jordan Peterson became a cultural phenomenon not because he had all the answers, but because he asked the hard questions and refused to bow when the world demanded it. Whether that makes him right or wrong is for you to decide, but it definitely makes him honest. And in a world of performance and pretending, that's rarer than you think.